Stop for a moment. Breathe. And now, look up. What do you see when you look at the night sky? Since you were a child, you were told that that starry vastness was a symbol of hope, of infinity, of divine wonder. They told you that the 12 signs of the Zodiac were guides, maps of personality, celestial compasses helping you navigate the chaos of human life. You check your horoscope. You define your identity. I am a Taurus. I am a Pisces. You seek comfort in the idea that there is a plan written in the stars. But what if I told you that this sense of comfort is actually the sound of the key turning in the lock of your cell? What if the sky we cover with romance is, in truth, the vaulted ceiling of a maximum security prison? And what if the 12 signs of the Zodiac are not your friends, but the wardens, the jailers designated to ensure that you never, ever remember who you really are or where you came from? Welcome to the Gnostic rabbit hole. Welcome to the secret they burned entire libraries to hide from you. The title of this video is not a poetic metaphor. The 13th sign of the Serpent. The Gnostic weapon against the Archons. Soul Prison is a warning. It is a deactivation manual for an alien technology that operates on your consciousness 24 hours a day. The ancient texts of Nag Hammadi, buried in the sands of Egypt for nearly 2,000 years, contain the technical blueprint of this prison. They speak of a force called Heimarman, universal fate. They describe how the rulers, or Archons, wove the stars like a net to capture the light, to capture you. They never wanted you to know that there is a flaw in this perfect 12-part grid. They never wanted you to discover the 13th sign, the Serpent, Ophiuchus, the Serpent Bearer. Why was this sign removed from the map? Why have the Church and the occult elites demonized the Serpent for millennia? Because the Serpent is the only thing the Demiurge, the false god of this world, fears. It is not the devil. It is the weapon. It is the fire escape in this burning building we call material reality. If you are listening to this, something inside you already knows. That discomfort you feel on Sunday night, that sensation that time is moving too fast, it is your divine spark, beating against the walls of the Zodiac, screaming to get out. Today, we are not just going to study astrology. We are going to dismantle it. We are going to decode the lie of the sky and place the Gnostic shears in Yuan Twin, Puntan in your hands to cut the threads of imposed destiny. They said your future was written. The Gnostic secret is that you have the power to burn the book. Are you ready to see what exists beyond the dome? The Archontic Watchmakers. To understand how to escape, you need to understand the engineering of the trap. Most people live and die under the illusion that Earth is a school, a place of learning where we evolve through suffering. This is the most dangerous lie ever told. In Gnostic texts, such as the sacred Apocryphon of John, reality is much darker and more mechanical. The text describes the emergence of Yaldabaoth, the Demiurge, a blind and arrogant entity who, believing himself to be the only god, created a system to imprison the spark of Sophia, divine wisdom within matter. But he didn't do it alone. He created assistants. He created rulers. The text is explicit. He created 12 powers to govern the heavens and 7 to govern the planets. These 12 powers correspond exactly to the 12 signs of the Zodiac. They are not just constellations. They are cosmic artificial intelligences. They are control frequencies. Each sign of the Zodiac was designed to implant a specific type of limitation or passion into the human soul at the moment of entry into this realm. Think about it. Aries injects aggression and war. Cancer injects emotional attachment and fear of loss. Capricorn injects the obsession with materialism and status. They call these personality traits. The Gnostics called them parasitic appendages. The Zodiac is a recycling machine. It is a perfect circle, without beginning and without end. 360 degrees of containment. The goal of this mechanism is to create time. The Demiurge is often associated with Kronos, the god of time who devours his own children. Consider the ancient symbol of the Ouroboros, the serpent eating its own tail. They sell this in esoteric shops as the symbol of infinity, the cycle of life, the beauty of eternal renewal. But in the deeper Gnostic view, the Ouroboros is the barbed wire of the fence. It is the closed circuit that never allows anything new to enter or leave. The Zodiac is the Ouroboros petrified in the sky, ensuring that history always repeats itself, that empires always fall and rise, that you always return. The 13th sign is the terrifying moment for the Archons when the serpent spits out its tail and transforms into a straight line, an arrow pointed at infinity. This rupture of the circle is what they call heresy, but what your soul recognizes as the only fresh air it has ever breathed. As long as you are operating within the logic of the 12 signs, you are operating within circular time. And time is the solvent that dissolves the memory of your eternity. You are born, you forget, you struggle, you suffer, you die, and then the Archons check your natal chart and say, "Ah, you didn't complete the Virgo lesson on servitude. Go back." And the cycle repeats. Reincarnation, in this context, is not a gift. It is a purposeful bureaucratic glitch. It is an energy harvesting loop. See how this reflects in our modern world. Look at the structure of our society. Everything is base 12. 12 hours on the clock, 12 months in the year, 12 jurors in court. It is the number of structure, of the grid, of the perfect prison. We have been programmed to fear the number that breaks this symmetry. The number 13. Why is 13 the unlucky number? Why don't hotels have a 13th floor? Because 13 represents the rupture of the cycle. 13 is the controlled chaos that destroys the warden's order. Let's bring this to the now. Pick up your smartphone. Social media operates exactly like the archontic zodiac. The algorithm, the digital archon, analyzes your behavior, discovers which sign or psychological profile you fit, and then bombards you with content that confirms this limited identity. If you are afraid, it gives you more fear. If you are politically angry, it gives you more reasons to hate. It keeps you spinning in the wheel, consuming your attention, your light, while the time of your life drains away. They use pop astrology on social media to make you proud of your handcuffs. "I'm such a Scorpio," you say, claiming the archetype that was designed to limit you. Small pause. I want you to feel the weight of this programming now. Breathe deep and let the air out slowly. Realize how many times you have justified your mistakes or your suffering by saying, "That's just how I am," or "It's my destiny." That is not you. That is the script, and scripts can be torn up. The Serpent's Code. Here enters the weapon. The title of this video speaks of the 13th sign of the serpent. Astronomically, there is a real constellation called Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, positioned between Scorpio and Sagittarius. The sun passes through it every year, but astrologers ignore it. They pretend it doesn't exist to keep the math of the 12 slices perfect. But it is there. The foot of Ophiuchus steps upon the constellation of Scorpio. He is the man holding the serpent. In Gnosis, the inversion is total. The church told you that the serpent in the Garden of Eden was Satan, the deceiver. But read the Nag Hammadi texts, like the hypostasis of the Archons or on the origin of the world. There, the serpent is the instructive principle. The Demiurge forbade Adam and Eve to eat from the tree of Gnosis, knowledge, because he knew that if they did, their eyes would open and they would realize they were superior to him. The serpent was the messenger of the Pleroma, the realm of true light, sent to smuggle freedom into the simulation. Ophiuchus, the 13th sign, is the archetype of the Gnostic Christ or the awakened Kundalini. He represents the overcoming of duality. Observe the symbol. It is not a man fighting the serpent, nor being devoured by it. It is a man holding the serpent. He is in total mastery of his life force. The serpent is the code for your spinal energy, the bioelectricity that connects the sacrum to the brain. The soul prison works by keeping this energy dormant, coiled at the base of the spine, personal hell, focused only on survival and reproduction. When the serpent energy rises, it activates the pineal gland, and the nervous system undergoes an alchemical transmutation. You literally change frequency. You become invisible to the Archons, radars. They suppress the 13th sign because it is the exit door. The Zodiac is a closed DC circuit. Ophiuchus is the grounding that breaks the circuit and allows energy to flow upwards, out of the solar system, back to the source. The Satschitriter Dunfar's Dice natal chart is a barcode of your slavery, but the serpent is the laser that burns that code. Think of modern medicine. The caduceus of Hermes, 2 serpents. They rub the truth in your face. The cure is the serpent, but they sell the venomous serpent, addictive pharmacology, instead of the serpent of wisdom, self-healing, and gnosis. They calcify your pineal with fluoride, aluminum, and chaotic electromagnetic frequencies to ensure the signal of the serpent is never received by your brain. They want you trapped in the 12, in the clock, in the fear, in the deadline, in death. The 13th sign is the glitch, the flaw in the matrix. And do you know why this is urgent now? Because the precession of the equinoxes is aligning our solar system with the galactic center. The energies are coming. The control grid is failing. People are waking up spontaneously. The chaos you see in the world, wars, economic collapses, collective insanity, is the Archons' immune system panicking because the cells, ES, are starting to vibrate at the frequency of the serpent. They are trying to lock the doors, but the light is coming in through the cracks. The illusion of the false light. There is one final trap we need to expose before we go to the practice. It is the trap of the false light. Many religions and New Age movements tell you to go to the light when you die. They speak of angels, guides, and ascended masters who will come to fetch you. In the context of the 13th sign of the serpent, we must be extremely cautious. And do not forget the moon, the queen of the night who rules the sign of Cancer. While the sun travels through the 12 signs, the moon acts as the smaller clock, the second hand that dictates your emotional tides. Many modern Gnostic researchers suggest that the moon is a transmission station, an artificial satellite placed to stabilize the frequency grid of the 12 and recycle souls. It pulls your waters, your moods, keeping you too unstable to focus on the exit. The serpent breaks this lunar spell. It stabilizes the internal waters so that the mirror of the mind can reflect the true light of the Pleroma, and not the reflected, pale light of deception. The Archons are shapeshifters. They can dress themselves as angels. They can project holograms of religious figures you adore to convince you to enter the white light tunnel. And what is at the end of the tunnel? Your Staunfeder Vereinfurid, the recycling room, the memory wipe station. They will use your guilt, your love for deceased relatives, your attachment to unfulfilled desires to suck you back into the zodiac. The 13th sign teaches absolute sovereignty. The weapon against the false light is your own inner light, not seeking outside, not begging for salvation, but recognizing, I am the source. When you embody the archetype of Ophiuchus, you do not need an external savior because you have become your own savior. You hold the serpent. You hold the power of life and death. Imagine, in this moment, that you are standing before a stargate. 12 doors shine with gold and promises, each marked with a sign of the zodiac, offering power, love, or wealth in a new life. But there is a 13th passage. It is dark, silent, and seems to lead into the void. But this void is not nothingness. It is everything. It is the Pleroma. It is total freedom from any script. And at 22, the courage to step into this fertile darkness, rejecting the bright lights of the Archons, fun fair. That is the final test. That is what we are training for. The Gnostic Rebellion Protocol. Now, we leave theory and enter the battlefield. Intellectual knowledge saves no one. Only applied gnosis does. How do you use the 13th sign of the serpent on your average Tuesday? How do you transform this cosmic wisdom into a practical weapon against depression, anxiety, and the feeling of entrapment? Here is your soul's instruction manual. This is not a gentle meditation exercise to relax. It is an act of spiritual warfare. It is a declaration of independence. Follow these 3 steps with the utmost seriousness. The first step is the revocation of the soul contract, the decree of Ophiuchus. The system operates based on consent, often tacit or unconscious. You need to withdraw this consent verbally and energetically. Go to an isolated place, stand up, barefoot if possible, to connect to the earth. Imagine the zodiac circles spinning around you. Like holographic bars, see the symbols floating. Feel the weight of the destiny they imposed on you. Raise your dominant hand with your index finger pointing to the sky, as if ripping an invisible veil. Say aloud, with the voice coming from the diaphragm, not the throat. I, spark of the eternal Pleroma, revoke here and now all contracts, pacts, and agreements made with the Archons and the Lords of Destiny in this life and in all others. I am not a sign. I am not a victim of the stars. I break the wheel of 12. I invoke the power of the 13th. I declare my sovereignty above the stars. My will is the only law in my universe. So it is. You may feel a shiver, sudden yawns, or even slight nausea. This is normal. It is the release of etheric parasites that were anchored in your aura through these contracts. The second step is the activation of the column of light, the ascending serpent. You have cleared the space. Now you need to occupy it. If you leave a vacuum, the Archons will return. You need to fill your body with the frequency of the serpent of light. Sit with your spine perfectly straight. Close your eyes. Visualize not a physical snake, but a golden fiber optic cable coiled at the base of your spine. Inhale deeply, imagining you are pulling a golden electric liquid from the center of the earth, rising up the spine. Hold your breath at the top of the head for 3 seconds, focusing on the center of the brain. As you exhale, visualize this light exploding at the top of the head and falling around you like a fountain, creating an impenetrable sphere. While doing this, mentalize the thought, I hold the serpent. I command the energy. Do this for 5 minutes every morning. This creates an electromagnetic armor. When the algorithm tries to suck you in, or a person tries to drain your energy, this barrier will vibrate, alerting you. The third step is the observer outside time, the practice of the 13th gaze. The grid traps you through emotional reaction in time, guilt of the past, fear of the future. The Gnostic weapon is living in the eternal now, the only place where the Archons have no power. During the day, when chaos happens, an unexpected bill, a fight, bad news, stop immediately. Do not react. Say internally, pause. Imagine you are stepping out of your body and observing the scene from above, like Ophiuchus watching the Zodiac. Ask yourself, is this real or is it a script test? Who is irritated right now? My programmed ego or my infinite soul? The moment you observe the emotion without merging with it, you cut the energy supply to the corresponding Archon. You become transparent. You have won the battle of that day. The journey from paranoia to sovereignty is lonely, but it is the only journey worth taking. They built an entire universe of lies to hide the fact that you are more powerful than the gods they invented. The 13th sign of the Serpent is not about changing your horoscope. It is about changing reality. It is about realizing that the prison bars are only solid as long as you believe in them. The veil is tearing. The system is desperate. They will increase the noise, the fear, the distraction. But you have the weapon now. You have the knowledge of Nag Hammadi running in your veins and the practice of the serpent in your spine. You are no longer star cattle. You are a Pleroma infiltrator behind enemy lines. I ask you now, awakened soul, will you continue reading the script they wrote for you? Or will you pick up the pen and write your own exit? The rebellion begins in the silence of your mind and explodes in the action of your life. I want to summon the army of the awakened. Go to the comments now and leave your mark. Right. I am the 13th door. Declare to the algorithm, to the world, and to the Archons that you have remembered, that you are awake. Share this transmission with those you feel are ready. Do not cast pearls before swine, but do not leave your brothers sleeping in the fire. The library is open. Gnosis is alive, and your freedom is non-negotiable. Subscribe to the channel if you have the courage to continue decoding reality with us. There are many more buried secrets we need to unearth. The war for your soul has already begun. But the good news is, with the serpent in hand, you have already won. See you in the Pleroma.